When was the last time you bought a ball of kinky and how much did it cost? Or any other maize-related food or product. And for people who are poultry farmers, they've been complaining for a while about the scarcity and the expense of procuring maize.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a big problem. And other grains as well are coming into the limelight here. Okay, so we're talking about shortage of grains, smuggling of grains, hoarding, should we say, or storing of grains in other countries, and how this is all affecting us right here in Ghana and our grain production and value chain and storage of grain and access to grain and the cost of buying, again, something as basic, as simple, as ubiquitous as kinky.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at this and then we'll chat.
The Minister for Agric, Honorable Afriye Osei Akoto, on his visit to the Gbewa Palace as part of his tour in the region, encouraged the Yana and his people to take serious interest in agric. He said government will in the coming years set up what he called an agricultural development zone in Yendi. The zone, according to the minister, will consist of about 30 to 40 hectares of farmland with all the necessary equipment. The minister said the agricultural zone is to help boost agriculture in the area and also to attract big companies to the area.
We are proposing the setting up of an agricultural development zone in dagbon. It will consist of between 20 to 40,000 hectares of farmland that we will develop the infrastructure, like clearing the land and all the things that are required for investors to come and put their money in the zone.
Honorable Ase touted the government planting for food and job program, saying it has yielded the needed results. The government this year has placed ban on the exportation of cereals, but according to the minister, it is still a source of worry to the government because there are reports of people violating the directive.
I have something which is very worrying to me and the government of Ghana, which is the fact that for more than a year, we have banned the export of foodstuffs from Ghana to our neighboring countries. So Ghana, in spite of this law, which is an executive instrument created by the President of the Republic, for nearly a year now, we have reports of massive smuggling of our foodstuffs to our neighboring countries, as far as Nigeria, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, Togo, and the others.
The minister is therefore appealing for the support of the overlord to assist a task force that has been set up to curb the situation.
We are calling on Your Majesty and your kingdom to assist this government to stop this illegal practice. I paid a courtesy call on the regional minister, who also doubles as the chairman of the Regional Security Council. I've emphasized this very strongly to him, and that action needs to be taken very strongly to stop this practice.
On his part, the overlord of Dagbon, Yana Abubakar Muhammad II, who himself a farmer, urged the youth to take agriculture serious because of its many benefits.
Alhaji Mashood was introduced to the War Palace, where His Royal Majesty allocated land for the SAPI program to begin. Currently, as we speak, anyone who travels from here to Kulinpiao will see His Royal Majesty's farm fort. And without a vehicle, you can't roam around the farm. This year, as His Royal Majesty speaks, his rooms are full of maize and soya bean. And so His Royal Majesty is saying that if Yana can go to farm, what of PRO, what of registrar, and others? So what it means is that all of us should engage ourselves in agriculture.
The Yana pledged his support for government by calling on the people to desist from the act of smuggling cereals across the borders. into neighboring countries.
Let's not sit under the trees and cry that there's no work in Ghana, there's no job in Ghana. Dagbon, we have vast land. We can make good use of the land. So His Royal Majesty is praying for long life and sound health for our minister, that he's doing a lot for the country, and we need to support him so we can execute the task that we have in future.
All right, so that was a report. We saw the Agric Minister visiting the Yana, speaking about halting of smuggling of grain to neighboring countries and the ban that has been in existence for the better part of a year or more, which is supposed to prevent people from exporting grain.
How is it supposed to prevent people?
Kweku,
Yeah.
there's an executive instrument to that effect, so
So
people shouldn't export grain.
imagine if we run our homes the way we run the country. And you tell your children that we wrote a rule down and you should obey it because we wrote it down and it's on paper. Have you not seen the paper? We have written it here. Why are you not obeying? Why are you selling the thing? Why are you not going to sleep? Sleep at 8 o'clock and you wrote it down on paper and you have not gone to sleep. So we are encouraging you to make sure that people go and sleep on time. Honestly, that's how we run the country.
Well,
It's not when he arrived there that the RECSEC came into operation.
no.
The RECSEC has been there before he became minister.
Yes.
Do you understand? No, I struggle with some of these things, though, because for me it's like, listen, why are we skirting around the issue? Immigration is there.
Yeah.
They are the border posts. If people are smuggling things out of the country, what's happening with the immigration? What's happening with border posts?
Demand for it, like
of
there
course,
is in
once there's a
Burkina,
demand
for instance,
it
people
will not be,
find a way.
Yes.
And we, unfortunate to say, but there
even-
are porous borders.
Even
There
when
are
no, but
unapproved
even
routes that people take.
even at the height of COVID, when borders were closed, we did a report right
People
here.
were moving.
Breakfast Daily, we watched it. People were at the Aflao border. There were illegal border crosses at the beach, almost in the sea.
It's true.
Honestly,
Yeah.
let's please.
All right, let's talk to our colleague Alabira, who's joining us on the line to just give us a bit more insight into this issue. Good morning.
Good morning, Asia.
Morning. Yes, I love it. I haven't been to Mecca though, but it's okay. Morning, Alabira. Listen, we're talking about what's happening here. Well, the minister's visits to the Yana, the discussion on encouraging people in Dagbon to engage in farming, and him reiterating the fact that there is not supposed to be exportation of grain, and the smuggling of grain as well is a big problem. Now, talk to us about the report you put together so we can get a bit more insight and context into the issue.
Thank you very much. Yesterday, the Minister for Agric visited the overlord of dagbon, Yana Muhammad Abakar II. And during the courtesy call on him, he made an appeal to the overlord to assist the ministry or to assist the government in the ban that it placed on the exportation of cereal across to the neighboring countries. This was as a result of the high rate of exportation of cereals in the country here, especially in the northern part here. You know, the northern here, we are close to Togo and then Burkina Faso. Then the other side is Cote d'Ivoire. But here in the market, you will see big trucks always in the market buying cereals, maize and things. So one usually wonder where those things are being taken to. And to our surprise, they are being exported out of the country. Here, there are several routes, especially on the eastern corridor. Apart from the Tatali border, which is the main, that is through Zabzugu. That one is the main route that you can go through without crossing the river. There is a bridge at the river Oti over there. So when you are using the Tatali border, you cross. And at Tatali, the border too, there are immigration services there. So many people, like they go, apart from the trucks, they usually go through that lane. Others use unapproved routes from Oti region through to the Zabzugu area. There are several unapproved routes over there. And these are some of the places people usually smuggle the cereals out of the country. So this was a source of worry to the minister because a ban has been placed on it, and to the minister, that they still received several reports that the thing has not stopped. So he was calling on the overlord of Dagbon to assist in curbing the situation. How can he do that? Because he is the overlord and the people believe and trust in him. So whatever he tells them, definitely the people will buy into it and they will understand what the overlord is saying. Right. So his appeal was just that, Yendi 2, let me make this point. Yendi 2 is the main center. That is, if you are to use the route that I talk about, the Zabzubu Taika route, Yendi is the main point. So the call on the Yana was welcome because definitely they will pass through the area. They will pass through Yendi. So if Yana says let's support government in this, definitely the people of Yendi will be on the lookout for trucks that will be using the road. Because you can't say you are load like people when they are buying, you can't tell where they are going to. Either they are taking it to Accra or to wherever. But from Yendi, if the branch right, it means that they are going out of the country. So the people of Yendi can't stop this thing. If you are from Yendi and you are coming down south, you either come through Bimbila side or to go through Tamale. So if they see any car that is turning right, it means that the truck is going to Zabzugu area, which is through Togo. So the people of Yendi can't stop this thing unless you are using unapproved routes. So I believe maybe the call was just for them to look out for the big trucks that are going there, madam.
Okay, Balabira, from what you just said, it looks like there is knowledge about which routes these trucks are taking to get to other countries. So how come those who are, let me just say the security services, right? Are we saying that they're overwhelmed or they don't have enough personnel to stop or track these vehicles? Or what is it exactly? I mean, aside maybe being whistleblowers, that is just, lay citizens of Dagbon being whistleblowers and saying, oh, we've noticed this, or what is it they want the Yana or the people of Dagbon to do aside saying, hey, stop exporting grain or farm more and keep it in Ghana? I don't know. It's almost like you know where the trucks are going, you know how they're getting there, but you can't stop it. I'm a bit confused. Oh, I like your home. Your home speaks volumes.
That is true. Because of the hard situation country is faced with, everybody wants to make a living.
Yes.
So the market women who are engaged in this trading, they say they also want to make a living. So it doesn't matter where they sell their goods. So that is the problem.
I mean,
here.
it's survival, isn't it? It's just basic. I'm gonna sell to who will buy, and who will pay good money for it, right?
Exactly.
But I'm not to say it's right, but yeah, it's.
So what the minister wanted the overlord to do was maybe talk to. I don't even know, because when someone is coming to buy, you can't ask him, are you going out of the country or you are going into the country? So what if I am going out and I tell that, oh, I am going to stay in the country? I need money. So I will sell to you. That is usually the problem. But the officers, there are, like you said earlier, there are officers manning the borders. And truly talking, these officers, like we did a report last week, for the condition at which they are living in those areas,
Wow,
is nothing to write home. So sometimes they are compromised.
You see, so I was just gonna say that if you put the person in charge of stopping this, if you don't make that person at least comfortable or give them a decent living, what do you expect? They could easily be compromised.
Yes.
Maybe they should look there first. I don't know. If they're listening, but oh gosh.
Because look, if you look at Yendi, like I said earlier, Yendi, the main center, Yendi through Zabzugu to Takale, there are checkpoints on the route. So, and if any truck is going that direction, definitely he will pass through these routes and they should stop it. But in Yendi town, just outside, when you are living in Yendi, there is a barrier there. And if a truck is going, that is the first point of call that the truck will be checked. But if it passes there, then those behind, I don't know, madam. Seriously, it's a serious problem here.
I get it. No problem. Thanks for bringing it to our attention, though. Thank you for that report. We'll keep tabs on it. Thank you again. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Quickly, David. You know, it's so interesting. As soon as he mentioned the living conditions of the security, so personnel who are supposed to be manning these checkpoints, etc., it's almost like, for lack of a better word, duh. I mean, look at the living conditions currently. And this is not to say that they are, a main cause of this or reason, but for the people who are supposed to be implementing this executive instrument, if you don't make sure that they at least have a decent living, the temptation to be compromised, it's so glaring.
Science. It's not.
I mean, it's not right. We are not saying it is right for anyone to allow an illegality to flourish because they're not being paid well. No, that's not what we're saying. But we're saying that if you want it to be effective, the person carrying out the order has to be, well taken care of. Let's put it that way.
Even apart from that, can you imagine that you have a pot of gold sitting there, and you have a man to come and sit there to protect the gold? This man
hasn't been paid in 4 months.
You have not paid him in the entire year that he's been sitting by the gold. He's hungry. He doesn't have, if somebody comes to steal the gold and the person has weaponry, he has no way of defending himself. Do you understand? We are talking about a myriad of problems which are solvable. We won't solve that one. No. We are saying we are all in this together. This government's pensions of saying we are all in this together, no.
Charlie.
Listen, duty bearers should just do what they need to do. I don't understand this rationale.
Include the traditional leaders. Yes, it's nice that you've spoken to the overlord of Dagbon, but listen, him telling people stop exporting the grain,
that's not doing anything.
Because people do have to survive. And again, I'll reiterate, we are not saying it's right. But the fact of the matter is, if conditions worsen and people feel like, look, whoever's going to buy my grain, I'm going to sell it to them.
I mean, I like what the Yana said, that if the Yana can farm,
yes.
Okay, then you, the young person, should see it as something that you can also do for yourself and your family. It's a brilliant call. My point is, for the government types, okay, I think it's important to do your job, right? Yes. So if you are in charge of RegSec, do your job. Everybody has a job. Do your job. If everybody did their work, some of these calls that we are making would not be necessary. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's talk to the Acting Regional Director of Agric for the Northern Region, Haja Yahawa Yakubu. Good morning, Haja. Welcome to Breakfast Daily. Hello? Oh, I think the line is quite bad. Hello, Haja, good morning.
I can hear you.
Okay, now we can hear you as well. Thank you for joining us this morning.
You're welcome.
So we've been discussing this issue of exportation of grain and the fact that, there's a lot of smuggling of grain as well. And the Agric Minister recently went to visit the Yana to appeal to him to talk to the citizenry of Dagbon and to encourage them to engage in farming and to stop allowing the grain to leave the country. Now, let's touch base with you on this as well as Regional Director for Agric. How dire is the situation with regard to grain leaving the country through unapproved routes in contravention of the executive instrument that says we should not be exporting grain? How dire is the situation?
Well, thank you very much. First of all, my name is Hawa Musa.
Okay, thank you for that correction. And sorry about that.
Yeah, traditionally we traded amongst each other in the West African sub-region, but though not formal. No, it was an informal market. But given the global economic situation and the food crisis situation, the government of Ghana has subsidized the inputs of our farmers so that they can produce to feed the nation. So in so doing, it's the taxpayers' money that the government has used to subsidize. But we also support farmers also making money out of their farming activities. But now, currently, given the economic situation worldwide or the West African sub-region, we will also have to protect our food, what we have in the country. So, in line with our minister's call for all stakeholders to also check and then to curb the smuggling of the food. We call it smuggling because there are rules in Ghana. If you are a foreigner and you want to buy foods or grains from the country, you have to pass through the right channel to get the right permission, which these people don't do because the government must permit you to pitch it or not. So they go to the farm gate through our own Ghanaians middlemen. We call them aggregated. Because obviously someone cannot come from Mali, Niger, and just go. They don't even know where to go. But it's our own people who lead them there.
Yes.
So they purchase the foodstuffs, sometimes with Ghanaian registered vehicles. And then they pass through the border on unapproved to their countries. So now we also foresee that if we allow them to do that, then there will be food shortage in the country and government will have to look elsewhere to buy food, to import food for the country.
Right.
So the call for all of us to be vigilant is a welcome call.
Right.
We in the agri sector, we have our extension officers all over in every district, every community in Ghana. And the marketplaces too, we normally go to take market information. So now that we've seen that the thing is dire and we need to do something seriously about it, we will also inform our Greek extension officers to be vigilant and report any suspicion of people purchasing to leave the country to the district assemblies. If at the district assembly, the district assembly will also have to take measures to talk to the members of the dissect.
Okay.
To also stop the illegal cutting of our cereals and grains out of the country.
Haja,
yeah.
Haja, how easy is it to distinguish between someone who is dealing with an aggregator locally to purchase and use or sell grain locally, and someone who's coming from another country? I mean, as you already said, sometimes they even have Ghanaian registered vehicles. It may be a bit difficult to tell whether or not this person is taking the grain out of the country, or whether or not it's staying here. Then also, price-wise, obviously, demand supply dictates price. Okay.
Yes.
So if a foreigner, so to speak, is coming and offering an outrageous price to buy this grain, what is the price differential between a local buyer and a foreign buyer, to the best of your knowledge? What is it that foreigners are offering aggregators or farmers such that they willingly sell their grain to them as opposed to what they get locally or from local buyers?
Yeah, what happens is that price-wise, I can't rightly say, but I know that there's no much difference. The only thing is that they have the ready cash.
Okay.
They have the ready cash because they use the middlemen, and the middlemen may take their commission.
Okay.
And they are able to meet them at their household level or the farm gate and pick from the farmer. So sometimes we may not know, and our farmers may not know that even they are not offering them anything much.
Wow.
But the only thing is that they have the money, when you see cash in somebody's house to buy your thing.
Yes.
Then you also are willing to sell that somebody buying on credit or paying you 4 months later, 6 months later.
Yeah.
Or sometimes a year. So once we are also with the awareness, our AES will inform them, our agriculture extension officers, and then we'll also do a lot of sensitization on radio to even educate our farmers. But the thing is that we, in the local buyers to feed the local industries too, must also sometimes change their ways, get money from the banks or wherever, and buy and pay the farmer right away.
Haja, money from the banks, is that really a feasible option now?
Well, they said African Development Bank and others are ADB.
Okay.
Agricultural Development Bank and others are there to support our farmers because it will cost us a lot to import food. And the industries that are into soya, cereal and grains processing and utilization for baby food and whatever food they produce should also look at it. You see, what our farmers want is to be paid right away and they move on.
Simple. Very simple.
Yes. But not to buy on credit 6 months, 1 year, sometimes 2 years, then you'll be chasing them for a long time.
This is not sustainable. Haja, thank you so much.
So
unfortunately,
that is really
attracting them. Okay. I think you've given us some good education on this. Thank you so much for joining us on Breakfast Daily this morning. That's Haja Musa, who is the acting regional Agric Director for the Northern Region, just giving us a bit more detail as to why.
I think it's an interesting perspective
that
I think allows us to appreciate what's really going on and why it is going on.
Exactly.
You know? I do think that the RECSEC, the DISEC are very key, and if they will work, we need to make sure that they work, right? And so we've been joined by Honorable Shani, who is the Regional Minister, on the line. Good morning, Honorable. Honorable, good morning. All right, we haven't we'll get to get him on the line. But I think that it's a very important play. For me, it's a security operation. It's not so much. I do understand, like, self-preservation. It kicks in.
It does.
You know, and everybody will fight for what works for them and their family. It's a critical thing, right? So as much as the country has its plan or a nice idea, you know, everybody will, at the end of the day, look towards what will sort their issues out, right? I think that as part of the operation that, you see, we have what we call the national buffer stock, which is the idea of it was buy the grains, store the grains, and have, you know, the place where you release it into the market from, right? Is it working? Is it working well? What's going on there? Why are the farmers unable to sell to buffer stock and get their money right away?
Yes.
Do you get it?
Why do they have to wait for
Why do you
months?
have to wait for months?
Yes.
You know, and sometimes a year before your money comes. It does not make any sense to me.
So if the foreigner comes cash down, he's
These
ready
are
to go.
subsistence farmers.
Yes.
I mean, seriously.
They can't.
It's not a joke. These are subsistence farmers. You can't, you know, say wait for 6 months.
Exactly. And do what exactly?
And how do I till
do
the
you
next
survive?
land?
Yeah.
Do
Anyway.
you get it?
Well, thank you again to everyone who called in and educate us, to Alabira, to Haja Hawa Musa as well. We'll keep, as much as possible, keeping tabs on this and following up on it. But I think we all need to keep a watchful eye, because in this season, and even going beyond this Christmas season, the shortage is a it looks like it could be a reality in certain foodstuffs, and we shouldn't take it lightly.
And then again, whilst I call on RECSEC and DISEC, I'm also speaking directly to the police, because you see, again, we have checkpoints. Police man these checkpoints.
Charlie?
You see, but like Alabira said, if you go and see the place that this police who is manning the checkpoint lives in this community, you understand why he will collect no fuel on the road.
And let that truck go.
And let's just call a spade a spade. This is what is happening. We see it every day. It's not as if we don't see. I mean, I was in Keta, a few days ago, and there's a truck ahead of our vehicle, right? And the policeman stops him, and like he literally stops him in the middle of the road, right? And he says, but windows were rolled down, so we could hear the conversation. He said, but you say you they go come. You know come. You they go come. You know come. So we they wait you. You know come. Then he reached out and collected money from the driver's meet, and then Charlie, all right, away bus. What is the track? What is going on? Now there's no interest. I'm just saying that we see it every day. So let's stop faking and pretending that the citizenry don't know what's going on, right? If we're going to fix some of these problems, we've got to be realistic, right? So you put people out there. The people have to be well taken care of so that they don't feel the pressure and the need to collect money on the side, all right? If you're not going to resource the police and the immigration to do their job, then let's stop coming on TV and pretending as if we are doing something. If that one too should stop. It's a joke. Anyway, Breakfast Daily, we have more interesting things to talk about.
After the break, yes, indeed, like situation. For those of you who are wondering what all the details are, don't worry, stay tuned. Eko Kumsum will join us and he'll give us the rundown on everything situation. We'll be right back.